Okay. Well, Mr. Garlits, thank you so much for seeing us.
I've always wanted to leave everything that I touched behind me in better shape than when I got there.
Yes.
That was my goal.
That's a wonderful thing.
Use something up and then somebody else have to fix what I did. Most people ruin some of the stuff that I left behind.
Yep. So speaking of fixing things, a big part of what we're doing is trying to find stories of the times when it wasn't so easy to get your hands on the things you need. Going into the salvation yards, junk yards. I spent the last 3 days, I've seen about 2,000 cars in the last 3 days, and about 1,500 of them came from briar bushes in the middle of the woods, and it was one of the best experiences I had.
I have a classic story for that.
Wonderful.
In 1956, I had a flathead dragster. It had Model T rails for the frame. And I tried to put a Chrysler engine in that, and as soon as I went to one race, the frame bent.
Okay.
And I always followed the advice of the old men, which to me, I'm in my early 20s, and the old men were the 38, 40-year-old guys.
Yes.
And so one of them had a sprint car, and he said, Donald, what you need is a 31 Chevy frame rail. Use those for your frame rails because they're lightweight, they're heat treated, and they got that kick to go over the axle.
Okay.
So I called around the wrecking yards in Tampa, and out on West Hillsborough Avenue, the old man running the yard said, yeah, I got one of them frames. I want $35 for it, but you got to take it out.
Okay. Yep.
I'm working in a body shop, and you work till noon on Saturday. There's one car in the family, and nobody's rich now. We're all just making a living, $50 a week as a man's pay in that kind of a profession. And so Saturday afternoon is all the errands with the wife and the groceries and whatever has to be done around the house. And Sunday was the day for me to get the chassis. So at 8:30 in the morning, I arrive at the West Hillsborough Auto Parts, and I have a axe, a big sledge, a huge chisel, and a small box of hand tools, hand wrenches.
Okay.
And I go up to the gate there, and the old man is standing there, and he says, Sonny, do you think you're going to be able to get that chassis out of that Chevrolet with those meager tools you have there? I said, yes, sir. He said, give me the $35. I gave him the $35, and he walked me out into the field out there, and it was turned over on its side in the bushes with no engine and transmission in it. That was helpful.
Yep.
Some work I wasn't going to have to do.
Yes, yep.
At 3:30 that afternoon, I drove out of that junkyard with those two side rails.
Okay.
All the cross members had been removed. It's all riveted. I chiseled every rivet. Hundreds and hundreds of rivets were chiseled out and then driven out with a punch. And the two side rails were now perfect.
Okay.
I went out of that junkyard, and that old man, 38 or 40 years old, was just standing there with his mouth open, just gaping. He couldn't believe what he'd seen. But I was a person that was driven.
Absolutely.
And when I started to do something, you couldn't get in my way. And that was all started from a very early happening. And that put me in this mode. My father told me when that was all over, he said, Can't is not in your vocabulary. There is no such word. If you want to do it, you're going to be able to do it. And my wife, that was her famous line. The minute somebody said, "You can't do that," and she looked right in my eyes and said, "You said the magic words."
Yep. You don't know what just happened.
This little lady understands that. One of those people that don't tell me I can't do it because I'm going to do it. That's how she got here with me. So.
Yeah.
Right up here's a picture up on the wall of me by that flathead dragster. And that's Lake City, Florida, August 1955, and I won the race. I won everything. I won top eliminator. In those days, you ran all the dragsters, and then you ran the coupe and the roadster and all the different ones, till there was one car that was faster than anybody there, and I won that. And I was in this little small club called the Strokers.
Okay.
And so a couple of weeks later, we had a meeting. Of course, all the Strokers were there, naturally.
Naturally. How could you
We had
miss?
a little meeting, and they had all kicked in some money and bought a little tea set. The little teapot
Okay.
and the little creamer and the sugar and some little cups. And they presented that to me and my wife at this meeting. I wasn't any kind of officer or anything. I was just one of the guys.
Okay.
And I'll never forget the big, tall, blonde, blue-eyed, good-looking president. I was about 110 pounds, And he looked at me and he said, "We've got this little tea set for you commemorating your win at Lake City." He said, "I guess you'll retire now."
That's why it was tea.
I said, "Gene," I said, "why would I do that?" He said, "Because you will never beat the Californians." In other words, I beat everybody from here,
Yeah.
but I'd never
Yeah.
beat the Californians. And my wife in the back of the room said to herself, he said the magic words, and that was August of 1955, and August of 1957 at Cordova, Illinois, the World Series of Drag Racing. I beat the California champion that had never been beaten by anybody. They hired him to come back and to get people in the stands.
Yeah.
And they gave him to me for the first round because I was going to be easy.
Yep, an easy out. Nobody knows this guy's from the other side.
For the next round. And it stunned them. We come down the return road, and the president of the association, Jim Ramona, this is an ATAA, not the NHRA, came out and met us at the head of the return road and said, "In all fairness to the world champion, we're going to have to see that again." And so
Wow.
we ran him again.
Oh God, I love it. I love it. Okay, want to go again now, or do you need to set up some time?
It was so funny.
That's great.
And of course, that was such an incentive to me. That I knew they could. This guy's picture was hanging on the wall in my garage. That's my hero. Because he was the first car over 160.
Okay.
And in November, I became the first car over 170.
And never look back.
And the rest
Just